Paul Lermitte is a financial advisor, a certified financial planner, and author who helps grown-ups and he helps children be smart rather than emotional about money. He practiced what he now preaches with his 3 sons, who are now growing up and financially knowledgeable and most likely financially skilled. Lermitte recently updated his Allowances Dollars and Cents guide, and it is my pleasure to welcome Paul Lermitte to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I saw you nodding when I said most likely your grown-up sons were financially literate, skilled.
Yes.
True?
Knowledgeable, yes. All those things, but not perfect. Again, they had to work through some of the credit card, those enticing balances. Consumerism is rampant, so they struggle, as all of us do.
Of course. And you let them make mistakes, I bet.
That was the thing. When they were kids, yes, and my favorite little one was Jeremy, the youngest, went to Toys R Us. He bought his little toy with his own money from his birthday. It broke that night. So I said, we'll go back to Toys R Us the next morning, but if you choose to buy that same toy and it breaks again, we won't be going back for another one. So you might think about buying something better quality. So what did Jeremy do? He bought the same toy.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And what happened? He got 2 nights out of that one before it broke, and we never went back. That was it.
Big lesson.
Big lesson. He lost that money.
And a lesson about quality, too. You get what you pay for?
Exactly.
Who taught you about managing money when you were youngin'?
Yes. Well, as most of us, my parents. And did they have any learning, any teaching on that subject? From their parents. So that's where, when I had the children, I thought as a financial planner, I would of course be able to teach my kids, but I did not have the skills or the tools. And that's why I went out and discovered all those.
And did your parents get along money-wise? And by that I mean often in a marriage, you have a saver and a spender.
Correct.
Were they good examples of saving or budgeting or putting 10% away?
I would say that they were good money managers in that when, I always remember these little things, we were overcharged by a nickel. And my dad would say, okay, which one of you 4 kids wants to go in there and get that nickel back from that store? And we would all, race to get to that nickel. So I think there was some discussion, but not a lot. Not as much as I think parents have to do today.
Okay.
Because it is a different game plan.
You bet it is. And different than when you wrote this in '99.
It is.
Much has changed. But you were only 8 when you bought your first Canada savings bond?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I was in Penticton. I was a paper boy. And I was putting my money away. Again, my parents didn't have extra money for us kids. So I had to earn it.
Same principles, whether you're rich or poor, apply.
Yes.
If you're in the Real Housewives household.
Yes.
And you have like yachts and Ferraris.
Yes.
And 5 kids, same principles apply.
Correct.
Regarding money.
Right. Money is a tool, and it can be used for good, for normal day-to-day activity, but it can also go wild and crazy. And we see that, not only with the rich, but we see that with anybody. That's why we have debt credit problems.
A lot of them. Apparently most of us are in debt. And many of us can't retire.
Yes.
Because we're still in debt and we haven't saved for retirement.
Right.
According to the experts. So, when do you start teaching a child about money? What age?
5, 6 is a great time, just before they're getting into that kindergarten. They're starting to acknowledge things, patterns and structure. And so that's, again, a great time. Sunday nights, Monday, for the week, just before the week. You don't want to pay them on the Friday nights like companies do with us, because what do? Friday night, Saturday, by the weekend, we've blown most of our money.
We go straight to the bar.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe we don't always, but...
but we go to the shopping. So we want to give the kids some other, again, teaching them some principles ahead, knowing that they're going to be hit on by all the consumerism that is out there.
Sure.
Let's train them when we can.
Allowance on a Sunday night.
Yes.
Stores are closed.
Yes. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. And how much?
Well, so the best I have figured out is about 50 cents per age. So a 6-year-old would get $3 every week. Now, again, that could be $1 for some families. They would want to maybe give their kids a little more money, teach them some more other things based on their social economic.
Okay.
Or some parents say, look, I can't even afford anything. And I want to say to those parents, you have to be able to give something to your child. We want them to teach, just like this book. You have to give them something. If it's a loonie, if it's a quarter, they then get decision making.
So for every year you give them 50 cents.
Right.
So when you're 8, you get
$4, yeah.
And now you have the $4.
Right.
And do you put it in a little piggy bank? What do you do with it? What do you tell your child to do with it?
Right. So we try to say, how much should we be saving? For us adults, we always say 10%. Well, we're going to try to move the kids to 20%. So we want them to keep 20%. And we actually want them to also learn about the community. So what are they going to be giving back to the community? So maybe another 10, 20% in that kind of little
What a good
part.
idea, raising a small philanthropist.
Correct.
Big heart.
Yes, and we need that more and more in society. And then the rest goes into that sort of, into their purse or wallet, into their piggy bank for spending. So that's then just what we want to do on a weekly, a monthly basis. And then go to the bank on a monthly basis.
So,
deposit.
Okay, so the bank account you set up at 5 or at 10 or when?
Right. Well, the bank account can be set up at any time. 6 years, 10 years old. I think a 10-year-old really gets it a little more, but sometimes some kids are at 6 or 7, right into it.
Of course, and it's always fun to take them to the bank because they feel important.
Yes. And you want them to feel important in the bank because as consumers, when we grow up, we tend to bow to the banks. I mean, we all bank, and I love our banks, but sometimes we have to remember we're the client.
Of
We
course.
are the ones that have the money.
And you can shop for a banker.
Yes.
That too. If the
Yes.
banker doesn't treat you well, go to the other bank. There are
Exactly.
options, or to the credit union.
Right. Exactly. So those are good things, again, making decisions, giving kids confidence about themselves and about their money.
There's a lots of marble in the bank. I think that's it. I don't know. It's quiet. There's something in there. You go in to get your RESP or your RRSP or tax-free savings, and you forget to ask all the questions. It's like being at the doctor sometimes. I don't know
Correct.
what it is and why it's there, but it's there.
Right. Well, one of the things that I want kids to learn and families is the thought is I want kids to be laughing all the way to the bank for the rest of their life, for a lifetime. I want that to be a passion, a mission for us to train kids in families that way.
Wouldn't it be great?
Oh, yeah.
So you have your allowance.
Yes.
You saved 20%. Now you want to get a debit card, say,
Yes.
because you got that big bank account now. Now you're
Yes.
15.
Yes.
You got some money in the bank.
Yes.
What do you tell a kid about a debit card?
Well, a debit card, we generally move to that 10, 12. So that is a little older situation because sometimes kids do go up to the machines, and if there's other kids around, sometimes they lose a little bit of their money to the other friends. So you have to be a little cautious with that. But it is part of our society. And so at that stage, we try to keep limits to that, how much they can take out, how much they can spend at a store. So you can put limits on those type of things. Very important again.
Did you tell your kids what they could do with their allowance or with their savings? In other words, you have a kid who just loves candy
Yes.
or wants a bike, I don't know, but
Yes.
do you say, your money, you do with it what you want?
To a large degree when they're kids, yes. But, here's what I would say on 3 of the kids. They would say, the eldest, he would spend to the dime. The second, he's coming to mom for a loan. The youngest, he's only spending half his money. Different kids. But they're making...
Born that way almost, aren't they?
I don't know how, but I've tried to train them all the same. So they all have to be, in essence, customized on how do they spend and why do they spend. So the middle guy, I try to hold back a little more of his money, push him a little. And today, he's actually probably one of the better ones.
How great. And because we were not born to shop. We were not. But some
No.
of us think we were.
Yes.
I don't know what that's about, but when you get to the point in life where you understand less is more,
Yes.
and all things in life are just things,
Yes.
it's a great place to be.
It is.
I don't know when that begins.
Over 50.
You think?
I hope.
Okay, well, let's hope. Okay.
One of the other things I think also that we should say is that, you know, we want kids to be great consumers. That's another thought process. We
Sure.
want them to be great consumers because we all consume.
Of course, smart consumers.
Right.
And to buy something, invest in something, not speculate in something, but not be afraid to take risk. And how do you get them there?
Well, that again is that whole, they have to learn lessons. And I'd rather have my sons learning lessons about losing money. Like my favorite one was Patrick took, you know, from his birthday money, $100 in his wallet to the movie that he was going to with his friends. And I said, well, you know, if you take that, what happens if you lose your wallet? What happens if somebody takes your wallet? You're going to lose all your money. So it just happened that we got him down to taking only $40. Guess what happened that night? He
No.
lost his wallet.
That's fate.
It was
Or
unbelievable.
something.
Yeah.
And you didn't plot and plan or
No,
anything.
no, I didn't have that.
He
jacked.
lost the $40.
He lost the 40, but he had that other money in the piggy bank.
You see?
Risk.
So he had 60 at home.
Yeah. So he learned.
You do. And when we come back, we'll talk about credit cards. When a kid, probably a teenager, should have a credit card. Should they have a credit card? Should they be cash only? How does that work out? We'll come back with Paul Lermitte, Allowances, Dollars and Cents after this.